Now we know the story thus far. King David wanted to build a house for God, and God would send Nathan to tell him that it will be his son that will build the house, not David. Alright, so let's see how David responds, and the title for tonight is Traits, Characteristics, in other words, of a humble man. Okay, so as men, one of our problems is pride. I hope we learn from here. Now, let us learn. It's a bit of reading, so let's try to read and follow along. Now, chapter 7, we shall read from verses 4 all the way to 17, all right? 4 to 17. So, we have a read. Beginning. And it came to pass that night that the word of the Lord came unto Nathan, saying, Go and tell my servant David, Thus saith the Lord, Shalt thou build me an house for me to dwell in, whereas I have dwelt in any house since the time I brought up the children of Israel out of Egypt, even to this day, but have walked in a tent and in a tabernacle. In all the places wherein I have walked with all the children of Israel, spake I a word with any of the tribes of Israel, whom I have commanded to feed my people Israel, saying, Why build ye not me a house of cedar? Now therefore, so shalt thou say unto my servant David, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I took thee from the sheepcote, from following the sheep, to be a ruler over my people, over Israel. And I was with thee whithersoever thou wentest, and have cut off all thine enemies out of thy sight, and have made thee a great name, like unto the name of the great men that are in the earth. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel, and I will plant them, that they may dwell in a place of their own, and move no more. Neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them any more, as before time. And as since the time that I commanded judges to be over my people Israel, and have caused thee to rest from all thine enemies, also the Lord telleth thee, that he will make thee an house. And when thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build an house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men, and with the stripes of the children of men. But my mercy shall not depart away from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I put away before thee. And thine house and thy kingdom shall be established forever before thee. Thy throne shall be established forever. According to all these words, and according to all this vision, so did Nathan speak unto David. Now, can we also please continue to read verses 18 to 20 together, reading. Then went King David in, and sat before the Lord. And he said, Who am I, O Lord? And what is my house that thou hast brought me hitherto? And this was yet a small thing in thy sight, O Lord God. But thou hast spoken also of thy servant's house for a great while to come. And is this the manner of man, O Lord God? And what can David say more unto thee? For thou, Lord God, knowest thy servant. May God bless the reading of his word. Let us turn to God in prayer. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering us again before thy throne to study thy word at thy feet. Lord, we pray and we give you thanks that thy word is ever settled, and we can trust in it. We can learn much from it, that our lives can be guided by it, and we will not fall into the sin of pride. Teach us the traits of humility, and help us, O Lord, to search ourselves always, that we may know you in the light, know ourselves in the light of your word. Be with the youngest to the most elderly in the men's and the ladies group, and feed us that thy church may be strengthened as we walk according to thy word. So be with thy children in thy house tonight. Remove all tiredness and distraction, we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Alright, so this story is, or this event I should say, is quite familiar to all of us. We've been studying about the pride of David, how he fell at the end. Now, but here we have gone back to an earlier stage of his life, the time when he wanted to build a house. Now, let us learn what are the traits. So he said, Lord, I don't want to fall like David. Like David, who because of his sin of pride, ended up in much trouble and also causing much trouble for the nation. Lord, I do not want to end up like that. What are the traits, O Lord? How should I live? What should I be careful of? How should I respond when things happen in my life? Traits or characteristics that show that I am indeed humble. And if I'm not, what should I do? Now, let's learn from here. Question number 1. Now, what did Nathan, or rather, what did God tell Nathan to say to King David? In verses 8 to 13. Now, 2 things I want us to notice. 1, what are the truths? 2, what are the traits that I must learn if someone were to come up to you one day and say these things to you? What are the truths that we must realize? What are the traits of humility that we must learn to exhibit? Understand? Alright? So, if someone walks up to you, now what are the things that were told to David? 8 to 13. Caleb.
His seed to build the house.
Wait, 8 to 13. So you have to look at 8 to 13. So someone walks up to you and says similar things to you. What did God tell Nathan to tell David?
Tell him about his humble beginnings, how he raised him from being a shepherd
to a sheep. To a ruler, alright? So you're right. Number 1, go tell David of his humble beginning. What was his humble beginning? You look at it. Now look at verse 8. Please go and tell David this. I took you from where? I took you from a line of kings. No. I took you from, wow, so humbling, sheepcote. Now, by now, David is a very, very established and well-known king. Understand that. Alright, so he is the who's who in those days. Think of powerful men in the world. But God says, I took you from the sheepcote, where sheep stay. We know David was a shepherd, correct? And not only that, look at how God describes what David was doing. Edward, what else did he say about David? Following sheep. Now, does it get more humbling? You were following sheep. You were not, you were a shepherd, but in reality, you were really following sheep. Where the sheep went, you just have to run after them, chase after them, looking after animals. All right, silly animals. That's all. Making sure that you feed them. Nothing important in the kingdom, so to speak, as a king. Then he says, next, from that, instead of following sheep in a very humble place, to be ruler. Ruler over who? Ruler over my people. Who is my people? Israel. So God used many ways to describe. He was not just a ruler, he was ruler of the people of the living God. And then he added Israel. Actually, what is Israel? Ben, what's Israel? What does Israel stand for? Yes, the meaning of Israel. Why was Jacob called Israel? Why was his name changed? What does Israel mean? My beloved. Not so much. Alex? Is real or not real? Now, Israel means a prince that prevailed with God. Right? Prince that prevailed with God. Remember, Jacob wrestled with God and he prevailed, correct? And as a prince, then now your name will be called Israel, meaning to say the prince that prevailed with God. Prince of God, right? So, now he brings back in even ruler over the prince that prevailed with God. Wow, what a position. But the emphasis is this. What do you think in verse 8 is the thing that God really wants us to come to the knowledge of this particular truth? What do you think it is, Frank? God wants to say, from sheep coat, you follow sheep, and I make you such a great, give you such a big position in the world. What was God trying to make him know? What is the truth that God really wants David to realize?
God can use anybody.
Very good. God can use anybody. David, you are not special. You see, when David wanted to build the house, God wanted to tell him, please know that building the house for me is a privilege. Just like being a king is a privilege. And I can use anybody, anyone. Now, how do you know that? Look at verse 8. Now he says, thus saith the Lord of hosts. How does it begin? I took thee from the sheepcote. I took you. I can take anybody, anyone. I could have taken great kings. I could have taken someone from a bigger tribe, more prominent than your family. I could have taken one of your brothers. But I chose you, who was the one that was assigned to look after and follow and run after sheep. Now look at verse 8. The first thing in verse 8 that God wanted Nathan to say to David, I took you. That is the key thing. My friends, that I asked the question, what are the truths? The first truth that God wants us to realize, if you want to learn to be humble, is God, when you are used by God, when you and I are used by God, if you are someone, I don't think any one of us at the workplace, who at your workplace is more important than David? I don't think so, right? I think even if we work for the rest of our life, I don't think we will be a king of the people of God, let alone king of a nation. Now God is saying that even if I chose you to be king, you were just a shepherd boy. My friends, the truth is, if you're somebody, it is not because you and I are important. Simply because God said, I took you. Of many people, God says, you're the one. Nothing to do with how good you are. Sheep, follower. Yes, you are a ruler now. So that's the first truth that we have to really have sink in our hearts. Do you really believe that? Now that's a question, you know. Do you really believe that? Who was David? Besides the fact that he was great and powerful. Right? Now, maybe I'll ask you this. So, let me see, who's next? Howard, one of your new employee colleague in your workplace. All right, come out and tell you, Howard. All right, you do programming, is it? Or you do projects? You run projects. Howard, you know, I heard that all these projects were very successful. But Howard, you know, actually you're nothing. How are you nothing actually? Remember when you were young, you were just, I know you, when you were young, we played marbles together, and then you were just, you know, you grew up in the backwaters of Malaysia, is it? Malaysia, is it grew up in Malaysia? I know who you are, Howard. And you know all these projects that you did, it's not that you're so smart, you know, Howard. It was because, you know, other people helped you. That kind of thing, right? And then someone come to Justin, I think, yeah, you did very well in school, Justin. But Justin, I know your family background. No one important in your home. And then, yeah, your results are very good, but you got a lot of help. A lot of people help you. I know that. Now, when you hear all these things, how do you respond? How do you react? Here God says, Nathan, I want you to go and tell David all these things. David is a very, very established king. He's the who's who now. Please remember that. If David were alive today, and it will be the same as a country welcoming the head of state of Israel to come to Australia. Alright? Red carpets will be rolled out. Canning Highway will be closed if he's going to Fremantle. We're going to have this highway closed, right? For lesser things. For more ridiculous things. You know what? Canning Highway will be closed. When he lands at the airport, security will be everywhere. And even more. Maybe if he were to visit certain countries, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people may come out. Right? Even in his own nation. That is the David we are talking about at this stage. We are not talking about the little shepherd boy that just became king. That is his position now. That's why he said, I'm living in a cedar house. I have peace. I've conquered so many kings. Kings that hear the name of David will say, yes, we are conquered by David. That is the David we are talking about. Now, furthermore, so how are you going to feel when you are at that state in your company? In church, how would you respond when someone come and say, you're nothing. Whatever you did is because someone helped you. How would you respond? Now please know that David is also, if you look at, it's also a very, very, very capable warrior. Alright? Colin, are you a very capable surgeon, doctor? No. Alright, so you imagine yourself. Or one day you are a very famous surgeon. Anybody who wants to have their brain operated on will be Colin Cheng. Alright? Very famous. Very capable of skills and everything. You think David was not like that? You think he's just a king and then people fight the battle and then he stand behind the lines? Please know that David was a great warrior. How great? How great? Turn to 2 Samuel chapter 7. 2 Samuel chapter 22. Now the point I'm trying to make is, how would you respond when you are great? Or at least you think you're great. When people tell you things like that. 2 Samuel chapter 22. Let's see the kind of things that David did as a king, as a soldier, as a warrior. Now look at verse 30. Verse 30. Now let's read verse 30, 34 and 35 together. 30, 34, 35, reading. For by thee I have run through a troop. By my God I have leaped over a wall. 34. He maketh my feet like a hind's feet, and setteth me upon high places. He teacheth my hands to war, so that a bow of steel is broken by mine arms. Now David is just stating some of his battle skills, some of his abilities, some of his successes, some of his strengths, just some. Now look at verse 30. He say, I ran through a troop. Meaning to say, the armies of the enemies, or it could have been King Saul's army at the time, a troop of people came at him and he can go through them. Some of you who like to read war books or watch war documentaries, you read of many great men of valor. They get Purple Cross and all that because alone they went through enemies' front line. They went through troops of people either to save their counterparts or to attack something, dismantle something. Then they come back with Purple Hearts, and they're very famous. All right, surviving a lone person going into army territory and run through a troop. David said, I run through a troop. So don't think that David is a nobody. It's just like you. It's just like you. major projects at work where people have been failing in, very big project, and then you go there and then single-handedly you went through the whole project and you survived and you did it. Or students, I don't know. You have so difficult a homework or so difficult an exam, and you did it on your own. Or maybe a church project, so major, the church have not done it before, and major project, and then you went through it alone. Now what else? Look at verse 34. My feet like hinds' feet. What does it mean, Caleb? Your turn. My feet was like hinds' feet. What do you think it means? Very fast. I don't think David is this portly, fat soldier that can't run, right? And he huffing and puffing. David was among the fastest runner among soldiers. So you can imagine, those of you who have gone through army, you know how it is. The person leading the troop, he must always be fitter than you. And then you're running, you feel like dying already. You just have to put up appearances. But David was not like that. He was really very good. Very, very good. What else? Look at actually verse 30. Verse 30. I have leaped over a wall. Don't really know which incident is this. I tried to find, I couldn't. But David said, well, I leaped over a wall. So today you see people like to jump, climb wall. They can jump on this wall, jump on another wall, and then climb over, that kind of thing. You see all these young people are doing these things nowadays. So David is also very agile. Right? He is a very, very good soldier. So could be during a battle and then he was being pursued, or it could be he needed to attack a troop, and he said, I ran and I just jump over the wall. One of the things that we fear most in military training is you're very tired, already reach there, and then you must climb that wall. Most of the people fail that wall climb. But David said, I just reach there, I'm over the wall. So what else? Look at verse 35. A bow or steel was broken by my arms, bare hands. All right. So the enemies will have bows. Bows are supposed to be very, very strong. Otherwise, they snap. So they will choose very, very good kind of wood. But David said certain armies, they had steel, they have metal bows. With my bare hands, I broke it. How? Cornelius, you admire David? Nowhere, none of us will be anywhere close as a soldier like him, right? Such a great soldier. Now this is the David. And then Nathan come and say, you're nothing. So David smiled. Say, Nathan, you tell me I'm nothing? All the battles I won, nothing. Do you know what I did or not? Do you know what I'm capable of or not, Nathan? But God said, go tell David. It's nothing. The fact that you won battle was simply because I helped you. Did David acknowledge? Yes. We read in 30, 34, 35. He constantly said, God is the one who enabled me. Now, one of the traits of a humble person, no matter how capable you are, and especially later on in life, like David, right? Some of you are newbies. Jason, how long have you been working? 3 years. All right, 3 years. Alex, how long have you been working?
25.
25 years. How long have you been doing business and working, Douglas? More than 10 years. All right. Wow. 25. Seriously. Where's your white hair? All right. 3 years and 25. 3 years and 25 years. As you grow and grow and grow, and you achieve more and more things under your belt, and someone walk up and tell you, like David, I achieved all this. I know what I'm capable of. Someone walks up and tell you, you're nothing. And everything that you did was someone helped you. How would you respond? How would you respond? Actually, then I ask the second part. How did David respond? What are the traits? What are the truth and what are traits? How did David respond? Wait, next. Justin, how did David respond? So someone come and tell you all those things. How should you respond? How did David do, Justin?
He said that he was nothing.
Say again?
He said that he was nothing.
He said that he's nothing. Where? Where do you get that?
Who am I? O Lord.
Alright, chapter 7. Who am I? Chapter 7 verse 18, right? Then David the king. Then went King David in and sat before the Lord. And he said, who am I? First thing to learn. David's response was, he went before God and he just said, Lord, who am I? Means David fully accepted what Nathan told him from God. He fully accepted it. There was no record of David getting upset. Will you be a little upset? All right. Okay, so we're coming across. Not really. Coming across. Maybe Alex, ask you. 25 years, right? 25 years. So your employee just joined, right? One of your employees, very young, just fresh out of school, just finish school, and then comes up to you. All right. So maybe Shane, right? Shane just finished university, then come. Uncle Alex, you're nothing, you come from backwater countries, say all those things about you, And then wow, actually you've done so much in your company, achieved so much, and then company you're who's who, right? Then you say, wow. And then this young punk comes and tell you all those things. Will there be a tinge of, wow, you? Will it be a tinge? There probably will be. There will be a tinge of that still. But David, what did David do? David, and I imagine I've told all this, and then David just goes before the Lord. What does the Bible say? Then went King David in and sat before the Lord. Alex, what will you be doing? After you hear that, wow, you just, And then you walk peacefully back to your car, and you'll be jumping, not sitting down, jumping. Right? Some of us may do that. He just went before the Lord quietly, and he just sat down. Lord, who am I? Not a tinge. We read just now, and David knew what he is capable of and what he has done. But David really did not have a tinge of that. The trait of a humble man is when you reach an age where you have achieved much and people say these things to you, can you really accept? So one day you are someone very elderly, like Uncle Tony, right? Uncle Tony behind. Okay, Uncle Tony is looking at me. All right, elderly. Now, do you know Uncle Tony is an extremely established photographer? You do know, right? He's a very, very famous photographer in Malaysia. He's so famous. I'm not making this up. This part is real. Okay? He's so famous that the Sultan in Malaysia would have him as his personal photographer. Did you know that? Did you know that? And he's one of the first who can color black and white photos to color. So his skills, his abilities, very strong. Alright? So, Caleb, are you into photography? Okay, pretend Caleb you are. Then Caleb, right? Caleb goes to Uncle Tony. Hey, Uncle Tony, you're nothing. God is the one who helped you. Right? Or one day pastor comes to Uncle Tony. Hey, Uncle Tony, all these things are from God. God help you. Now the thing is, the more we achieve, the higher tendency is there for us that even we know is true. God helped me. And I'm sure Uncle Tony knew it's God that helped him. Alex knows it's God that helped him. But the difference with David, with most of us, is David really had no response of unhappiness or anything. How do we know? He really went to God and sat down and says, God, who am I? He just sat down, not jumping up and down in front of the Lord. Jump. Lord, you know what Nathan said to me? This Nathan don't even know how to use a bow. I broke a metal bow with my hand. Who is he to tell me this? Nothing of that sort. Why? Why? Simply because he really, really understood this truth. This truth. What is that truth? He was really nothing before God. Who am I? Who am I? When David said, who am I? David have not lost his memory. Oh no, who am I? Lord, who am I? What he says, Lord, I am nothing. Who am I in your eyes, in the world, in the whole world? Please know, he is the person who, if he land in Perth, in Australia today, governments will close down roads and set up security barriers for him. He will be on TV, in the front page of newspaper. This is that state of David. But he says, who am I? You work for so long, you achieve so much, you are this level of management, and people of a certain pay grade are not even worthy to talk to you maybe. You're not even at my pay grade. In your heart, will you really still be like David? As far as David is concerned, I'm just like the same shepherd boy. Same backwater kampong boy. Same. I am nothing. That did not change David at all. Now you will have skills that will grow in your life. It will happen. Alright? So, we move to Colin, right? Colin will inject more people, will cut up more people, will see more patients. He will get more and more skill. And others, alright? Kenny will do more projects and he will get more and more skills. Your abilities will grow. And then you will be better at strategizing things. Alright? More and more capable. And at work, you can become a person who say, actually, this strategy, who ran through the troop? This whole mess of a project, I ran through it. No, I ran away from it. I ran through it and I solved it. Who? Me. I thought about what to do, and that one thing made the whole difference. When all those things began to develop, remember this trait. I am nothing. I am really nothing. The test is you go and pray to God. This prayer of David was recorded for our benefit. I think if we prayed, how would you have prayed? How would you have prayed, Justin? Well, someone say, Justin, I have all your results. Oh, yeah, so you did very well. Then pastor comes. Justin, actually you're a stupid boy. Actually God will help you. Agree? Do you agree? Because really God help us, right? We always say God, I give glory to God, I give glory to God. But really in our heart, the test is when you come before God. God, pastor called me stupid, What kind of pastor is he? Or do you come before God? God, it's so true, I'm nothing. I'm nothing. Or in church, the same. You did something, you organized something, and the Lord used you. And over time, you become more and more capable in doing things in church. How would you respond? Right, so let us learn this lesson from David. He was very genuine. I am nothing. Remember, we keep saying, the best thing to always remember, who am I, Lord? Who am I, Lord? Now, what is... so what is the other thing that was told to David from verses 8 to 13? Next, okay, just Colin. I use as an example, doesn't mean you've answered, right? So, 8 to 13. What else did Nathan tell David? 8 to 13.
God was with David whenever he went and cut off his enemies.
Okay, so God was with David wherever went, and God was the one who cut off his enemies. That's related to the first part. David, you're nothing, and everything that you achieved was because of me. Alright? What else did he say? You only have 12 and 13 left.
His children's soldiers came the throne will last forever.
All right, so his throne will last forever. Solomon will rule, and God will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. So what? What is God telling him? Adrian, oh, I missed Adrian. Adrian, what is God really telling him? Telling David. What is God really telling David?
It's like God that made him who he is.
God made him who he is. Yes, but God made a promise to him, right? God said, your kingdom, your throne will be established forever, down your son's line. Do you know that in those days for a king, the most important thing for the king is to try to ensure that his throne will be passed on to his son, to his son's son, means keep running in his line, right? Then it will always be related to his name, correct? So that is the great desire of any king. The greatest fear of king is another king come, kills him, and then now the clan changes to another clan. Or worse, another country comes, another king of another nation comes, kills him. None of his relatives will be there to take over. So to the king, to any king, to be told your throne will be established forever. Now that's the most wonderful thing to hear. Do you understand that? What's so wonderful? My name, my legacy will last forever. Do you understand that? So for David to hear that, it is like a king being told, you will forever be remembered and it will always be your legacy. Just been told that. Now if you are a king back then and you have just been told that, what it means is you have no fear of any enemies, you know. It's a promise that your name will always be part of the legacy. So now I ask Kenny Chia. Kenny Chia, your legacy will last forever, Kenny. What's your first response?
Thank God. It's God that helped me to.
Thank God. And it is God that gave me this legacy and helped me and gave me this legacy. Really? If your boss say, Kenny, you know, you'll be the boss of this department, and in fact, I am going to give you, the CEO or the founder of the company, the chairman say, I'm going to give you this company, Kenny, and you can go out, and what company you work for? Okay, censored, all right, it's recorded, right? Company X, it's called Company X now. Kenny, you can go out to the building and you can change it to your name bright in neon lights. Kenny in the sky. Kenny. You think people like to do that? Actually, what do you think of people who like to put their name up in neon lights and in the sky? Kenny, what do you think about a person like that?
So that everyone knows who you are.
Hey, everyone knows who I am. My name is in the sky. All right, so Kenny, the company is yours. You want to change it to Kenny, just go ahead and change it. All right? And forever and ever, the company is yours. And any amount of money, you are such a lousy manager, you cause the company to crash. Don't worry, we'll keep pumping in money and you will forever be a famous CEO. I promise you that. So the chairman said that, all right? The chairman is multi-mega gazillionaire, all right? Say, never run out. It's yours. What will you say, Kenny? What will you do, Kenny?
I don't have to worry about future.
No, what will you do? Yeah.
Accept it.
Accept it humbly. Accept it humbly. No, what I mean is, I'm very sure who would you call? Who would you telephone? Who would you WhatsApp?
To tell about these things.
Yeah.
Julia.
We all now answer. I will text Julia. I will text Julia, right? It's a natural reaction. We hear such wonderful promise. I'll have have to tell my wife. Now notice that God told David two things. One is, you are nothing. David, though he is very capable, he achieved much, he's the who's who at that time, he just went before the Lord, just sat down, Lord, who am I? But please don't forget, when David said, Lord, who am I? He heard two pieces of news. Know that. One is really, David, you're nothing. So all of you say, wow, yeah, must learn. Lord, who am I? But please know, he also heard a piece of news that for most of us, I don't think we will. All right, boss. The boss said, you are promoted to general manager. How many of us? Thank you, boss. Boss, can you excuse me? Turn around, wow, grinning like crazy. I need to go to a room for a while. When you go to the room, maybe you jump up and down screaming and texting our wife. How many of us will say, boss, excuse me a while, I need to go to the toilet. You go to the toilet, close the door, sit down before the Lord, and you say, Lord, who am I? Who am I to deserve this, Lord? But please remember, at that time, okay, maybe at that time, Kenny has already been 26 years older. 26 years in the industry, achieved a lot of things already. Kenny, would you still go to the toilet, close the door, and ask, Lord, who am I? Or will we go around to the company, hey, you know, who am I? A different who am I? Do you know who am I? We'll go around. Or in our hearts, you'll be, yes, after all these years of doing all these things, running through the projects, jumping over project hurdles that were very difficult, breaking problems that could not be solved, and I broke it, I solved it. After achieving all that, you will still quietly go to a room after the company say, you have done so well, this is the promotion to the top of the company. You will really go to a room, close the door like David. David just went away. The Bible says, look at verse 17. According to all these words and according to all this vision, means everything. So did Nathan speak unto David. Ta-da! Verse 18. Then, when who? When king. God want to add the word king. Sometimes God will just say David. But here God want to add the word king. David went in and sat before the Lord. David did not go around. I don't know. They don't have phones back then. But I imagine if a king were told today, what will you do? Call the king of Assyria. Hello, king of Assyria. I got bad news for you. My throne is going to last forever. Even you conquer us later on, I will be back. Right? We were calling lots of people. Hey, king. Hey, kings. Look, I am untouchable. But David says, Lord, who am I? Now, this is a different who am I now. The first who am I is a real recognition, I'm nothing. This who am I is, Lord, why do I deserve this? Why do I deserve this? Another trait of a humble person is one who really never feels that he deserves anything. Not only he really acknowledges that he is nothing, but also when he has achieved much in life, but yet in the eyes of some, he rightly deserves this promotion or this praise or this whatever. He really still says, I don't deserve this. I'm so shocked that Lord, I'm so shocked that I'm getting this. How many of you will tell your boss, right? Just how can he say? What will he say? I accept it. I accept it, right? But David says, Lord, why do I deserve this? What is my house? I don't deserve it. But David is really someone very well known then. Trait of I don't deserve anything. Now, so I told you before, there's one thing that I learned in Bible college from the ministers that teach, the pastors that teach in the Bible college, is always reminding the ministerial students, always remember, you are nothing. Second thing to remember, because you are nothing, you don't deserve anything. I think it's a very good reminder for everyone in life. Actually, why? Why is so good? Okay, the young man, Shane, haven't even come out to the working world, all right? Still wet behind the ears. Shane, why is it so wonderful to really believe I am nothing and I don't deserve anything? You don't have to deal with the sin of pride. Yes, that is one way of saying it. As long as you think I am nothing and really I don't deserve anything, can you give an example of you don't deserve anything?
I don't deserve to be saved.
Alright, I don't deserve to be saved. Okay, so that is a very good meaning. But in church, or maybe in school, you're in uni, right? Are you in any clubs? Join anything? Doing anything in school? Okay, then in church, are you taking any position, doing anything? Logistics of what? Just doing the chairs. All right, so just doing the chairs. Do you ever wonder, why am I doing the chairs? Why not my younger brother is doing the chair? Justin also does the chair because you ask him to. He also asks. In fact, he do the heavy chair. I assign him the heavy chair. Do you ever wonder and you turn around. The other side, the other round. Right? Sujin, right? Alright, so we ask Sujin to organize Christmas. Right? Then Sujin come to you. Shane, alright, Christmas Day you pack the chairs, you clean the floor, after that you wash the toilet some more. Alright? Yeah, holiday Bible program. I told Justin, toilet very dirty. Justin, go and clean the toilet floor. Right? Justin, do you feel upset that pastor asked you to go do that? Why no? Instead of. Right? So yeah, clean up. Why pastor asked me to clean the floor? Who am I? That's a different who am I. Pastor, you know who am I or not? In school, I'm very famous, you know. Everyone admire me. I'm a top student. I'm very intelligent, you know. Come to church, you ask me to clean the toilet floor. Maybe you ask Cornelius. Right? Now these thoughts are because we think we are somebody. That's the reality. I'm somebody. Because now, Justin, you are how old? 17. 17, clean the toilet, still alright. When you're 37. Right, 37. Justin, clean the toilet. You may feel differently at that time. Because we think I am somebody. Right? I am somebody. Not only that, Shane will begin to do a lot of things and maybe get more and more position in the church. Then why must Sujin be the organizer? I also deserve to be the organizer. Maybe Sujin should clean the toilet. Now things will begin to change. David was serving the nation of Israel. I think whatever position we get in church or in the world cannot be compared to that. But David, when he was given this promise that his throne will last forever, in fact the throne of Christ, that is why it will last forever, he really meant it. Lord, I don't deserve it. So many people that you could have picked, so many shepherd boys that you could have picked. I was a sheep follower, but you picked me. Why do I deserve this? David said that when he was really somebody. When we are really somebody, do we in our heart really go to a room and sit down and bang the table? Who does pastor think he is? Who do the session think they are and ask me to do these things? The truth that David learned and David knew in his heart, when God said those things to tell David, you are nothing, David responded, yes, I'm nothing, Lord. Who am I? Now the more you and I really have that as a truth in our heart, not just say, because all of us, I'm sure as we go around, all of you can give the right answer. You've studied God's word long enough. We all can give the right answer. But really, when one day something happened to you, someone walks up to you and say those things. Now I try to be nice and courteous. But I can walk up to Alex. Alex, 25 years. Well, Alex, you're nothing actually. Alex, everything that you did, God have you. Is that a true statement? That is a true statement. Still a true statement. People might say it badly to you. But the point is, if that becomes true, that truth becomes very real enough, I'm nothing and I don't deserve anything, Shane is right. You will not need to deal with the sin of pride. You won't need to deal with it anymore. You can take anything. And when you're bypassed, it is fine. I'm sure Justin, you're bypassed to clean the toilet, you're always fine. But now you're bypassed for, how come my brother always get those things but I didn't get it? Whatever you're bypassed at whatever stage of your life, you don't deal with being upset. I know one pastor always say, some pastors they get very upset when people's birthday they don't get invited. When there's a gathering they don't get invited. When people's children's birthday they don't get invited. When people's children get married they don't get invited. Some pastors they get very angry. They get very upset. They feel very slighted. I am somebody in church, and you didn't even invite me. Now I'm not hinting for you to invite. Please, you don't have to invite me, alright? Lots of things to do. You invite me, I will come. I'm also not dropping a hint not to invite me. I'm not saying, alright, okay, y'all, why you waste my time? Why you invite me? But the point is, when you are somebody in some position, whether in church, whether outside in the world, we will have this tendency to get upset. Maybe I ask next, Sujin, what do you get upset at? Pride kind of stuff. This kind of stuff. Okay, you're running a pharmacy, right? Alright, you're managing a pharmacy. What would you get upset at?
Perhaps when staff do not do things according to instructions.
Staff do not do things according to instructions. Well, that's a right reason to be not happy. But there's a difference between staff don't do things according to instructions. If it's because I am the boss, I give instruction, you don't do it, so I am angry. Now that's different. Versus this thing needs to be done. Follow instructions and get it done. If not, it affects the pharmacy. That's different. But when we get upset because I am somebody, when I tell you, you do it. That's different. I have known of men in the world, managers in the world, for example. We have to be careful. Women can be managers, alright? Just in case women wonder, I'm covering this at Ladies Fellowship, Adelphi. Now, but I've seen men at work, they get very angry. They get very, very upset. Not because things are not done, because they should be done for the good of the company and for the good of the group, but they get angry because it was not done because they wanted it done. Do you understand? So someone just shared with me, my boss is very angry at me. Why? Because he wants me to take this course. He wants me to take this exam. But I have no more bandwidth to take exam. Now, if I were the boss, I'll be quite happy generally. Oh, save money. Don't have to take course. Oh, you do more work. But the boss asked him, are you defying me? Are you defying me? So my friends, I'm not saying if you're a boss and you ask someone to do something, you say, you don't do it, okay, no problem. Who am I? Don't do. I'm not asking you to be a bad boss, alright? But you should not be because of pride. But if we don't have pride, really it's very easy to go through life. But that's the difficult part. Now, so David truly had that in his heart. I hope that we understand that. So please don't read this thinking that David was just nothing. David was this bald-headed, pot-bellied, hardly any experience. Yeah, God helped him and he became a great king. No, he was someone really, really very established, very capable, very, very experienced. He was a known battle strategist from younger days. He won many battles. He became a general very quickly, general of the king's army very quickly. He was among the youngest general. He was a great strategist. He had great skills. He had great abilities. But really, at this point, he really meant, who am I? Like to say that word, who am I? The question is, do we mean it? All right, next, let's learn. All right, question number 2. Now, how did David respond when he was told by Nathan that he will not build God's house? Well, just now we said, he just went to a room to pray to God. Now, I really hope that that is something that happens in our life. Whether it's someone say you're nothing, or someone say you are great, something great will happen to you. Both have the same response from you. You simply go before the Lord and really acknowledge you're nothing. Yes, question.
Good, Pastor. What if someone actually did quite a lot in the company, but the company failed to recognize the person effort, and then the person feel dejected? So is that because of pride?
Okay, so the question is this, which is a good question. What happens if a person really did and contributed and was very capable, and because of his capability, the company became something important, all right? Became famous, made a lot of money or became famous. But the company never recognized him. And then the person feels very dejected. So the question is that because of pride? All right, so what do you think, Benedict? Is that because of pride?
Somewhere in the Bible that says something like
Give credit where credit is due, and they didn't give him credit. So I'm going to show the Bible. My God says you must give credit where credit is due. He's asking the other side. So he's not asking whether the boss did the right thing. Yes, the boss you rightly said, as bosses, make sure you give credit where credit is due. But he's asking on the employee side. This question is on the employee side. Is it because of pride that the person would feel dejected? What do you think, Jason? 3 years experience. From that 3 years experience, what do you think?
Shouldn't expect someone to get paid.
Say again? Expect what?
Shouldn't expect someone to get paid.
I don't really expect anything as long as got paid. But his question is this. You know, I should have been paid many bonuses, given millions of shares and stock options because I am the one who created this. Say again?
Leader's principle.
Be what?
It's a philosophy that someone will get promoted up to the point of failure.
Someone will be promoted up to a point of failure? No, it's not asking that. Yes, it could be. No one knows. All right? It could be because of pride. I'm not recognized. It could be. So for someone, it could be, yeah, it's really pride. I'm not recognized and I'm really upset. In fact, I ask a similar question later. I feel very upset. All right? I feel very dejected. Could it be anything else? Actually, you asked the question. Could it be anything else, Douglas? What else can you think of? Pride, yeah, in one form or another, highly because of pride. Some feel very dejected, pride. Anyone else can think of?
Lack of faith.
Lack of faith, what do you mean lack of faith?
Feeling like situations out of control.
Situation out of control. I think, what do you mean by that?
That you maybe depended on it and it didn't.
Oh, I see. So dejected, I see what you mean. So yes, it could be because now you worked very hard and maybe you are dependent on it. Okay, fourth child coming. Fourth child coming, right? Fourth child coming, finances are very tight. It's very difficult. You know, if I get recognized for this and get a promotion, most likely there will be increase in pay. Yeah, I may be promoted to my next level of incompetence. Do you know what that means? You don't know, you ask me later. But it's still promotion and I get more money, all right? I get more money. I need the money. I need the money, so I'm dejected. Yes, could be that. Could be that. And as a result, it could be because of lack of faith. I'm dejected. I was hoping very much that I get recognized and promoted, and that will help my financial situation. So I feel kind of disappointed. It could be that. Yeah, but very often maybe you're single, no debt, no nothing. Probably pride. But the question is this: as long as you remember I'm nobody, right, and I am nothing, then you remember, if it is pride, anyway, I don't deserve anything. I don't deserve anything. Okay? Now, what is the principle for Christian working? By the way, how to not get dejected? Next person. Adrian, how not to get dejected? Well, one, if it is pride, definitely I'm nothing, I'm nobody. Say again? Be contented. Yeah, be contented. Now, sometimes I guess the other one is, it's still related to pride. I'm not recognized, right? I'm not recognized, so I'm dejected. Not recognized, linked with pride. You're right. Now, how to deal with this? Now, Christians' attitude at work. In fact, we studied this, right? Now, if you turn to Ephesians chapter 6. Ephesians chapter 6. In fact, it's related to one of the questions. Ephesians chapter 6. Now, let's read verses 5 to 8 together. 5 to 8 reading. Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, in singleness of your heart, as unto Christ, not with eye service as men pleasers, but as the servants of Christ, doing the will of God from the heart, with good will, doing service as to the Lord, and not to men. This is your answer. How not to get dejected. Whether it's because of pride or anything, God says, man, as you work in the world, young person, as you study and you come out and work one day, you can get dejected. Now God says, just remember, when you work under anyone, you are a servant. Now He says that do it as to please God. When you did the project very, very well, and no man recognized you, anyway, God says, whatever you do at your workplace, don't do it with an eye service. You watch your boss, when your boss is watching you, the eyes are moving, you do a good job. He said, you just do a good job. To God, God always sees that. Now He says, doing the will of God. When you are placed at that workplace, it's God's will for you to be there. Whatever you do is given by God. You may see, my boss gave me a bad project. Please know, when you're put there, and the project is given to you, God says, take it as the will of God. That is what God wants you to do. Don't do it with eye service, means don't do it to make sure that someone will recognize, see it, and praise you. But verse 7, doing what with good will, doing service as to the Lord, not to men. You will never get disappointed. You will never get dejected. Why? Let me ask you. Why will you never get dejected? Next, pay. Why will you never get dejected if you do things to God?
Because you don't expect anything.
You don't expect anything from men. What about God?
You do it towards. It's a privilege.
It's a privilege to serve God. You remember BBK. Now, yes, as long as you do to God, God always sees, God always knows, and your reward is always from God. Whether in this life or in the later life, and even if God don't reward anything physical, it's your privilege to do the will of God where you are. Now, when you have that attitude, it will also deal with your pride problem. It will help you with your pride problem. Alright, so we come back to this. Alright, does that answer your question? Alright, now let's go back to question number 2. Now, question number 2. So the son will be asked to build the house. Did David accept the decision? Yes. How did David respond? He accepted God's decision humbly. Do you get upset? Now, I find it very strange at the workplace at times. Maybe I ask students. Cornelius, do you have class monitors in the school? No. Do you have person in charge of the class in school? You have. The teacher appoints, right? They appoint themselves. Say again? They are counselors, alright. They are counselors. Are you a counselor? No. Okay. Who's the counselor in your school? Only 2 counselors. Alright. How come they didn't pick you? Say again?
Because the counselors are elected by the students.
The counselors are elected by the students. Do you feel very sad and dejected when they didn't elect you? Why not? You didn't what?
Need the position.
I don't need the position. Or is it I don't need the position? Is it? I don't need. Then what do you need?
Just be normal.
I want to be a normal. I want to be a normal kid. Stay that way the rest of your life. All right? I'm not saying we should be lazy. He said normal. Huh? He didn't say I just want to cruise. I just want to go zonked out in class and then to think about that. He said, I just want to go on a normal life. Be able to come to. Now, I'm not saying that Christians should not take up promotion, should not take up roles. But the funny thing is, there are people who want positions very much. Even if, now Cornelius, being a counselor, is it very difficult? No, no trouble. Okay, good school, all right? Counselors, you can face a lot of problems. But I've known of employees who, when there's a project, if you don't give it to them, they get very upset. Anytime they always want the tough one, the important one, because they feel that that is what is going to make them important. And then when they get turned down, they get upset. Do you have employees like that? Do you have colleagues like that? This is Australia, no. No. Eugene said yes, there are those. Vying for but David, when God says, I want to build the temple. Do you know what it means to build the temple? David's temple. What is it always called? Solomon's temple, right? Till today it's still called Solomon's temple, correct? If David built, there would have never been such a name, Solomon's temple. It would have been David's temple. When David was turned down, say no, this project, not for you. No problem, Lord. No problem. He humbly accepted. But many of us, we can't accept. Now, why? Let me ask you, why? When you are bypassed at work, when you are bypassed in church. David was bypassed, so to speak. But David did not have a problem with it. Why? What is the trait to learn about humility? Eugene, next. Why? Okay, you got the tough question. Why do you think so? All right, Lord, not me. Fine. Because it is up to God. Now, what's another way to say it is up to God? It is God's will. Understand that. It is God's will that matters, not my will. That is a trait of a person who is genuinely humble before God. God, if this is your will, it doesn't matter to me. As long as your will is done, I'm happy. I have no pride to say that I am not the one who is given the responsibility. If you get bypassed at work, if you get bypassed in school, in church for whatever things, and you see someone else asked to do it. If you have a trait that's humble, humility is, Lord, I submit to you. I submit to your will. Satan could not submit to God's position, to God's authority. That is why there was the sin of pride. I will ascend above. In other words, God, why must I listen to you? Why must I be under what you design and what you will in this universe? I want to be you. I want to decide. Now that is where pride started. So my friends, I hope that we learn from David. Lord, if it is your will, I just submit to it. That is the best humility, because you will know that everything in life is ordained by God. There's nothing that happens by chance. We always say that. Nothing happens by chance. God is in control. We sing that. But when you couple that with God, because nothing happens by chance, everything that happened in my life, in church, at work, at home, in society, in school, it happened because you chose that for my life, and I submit to it. That's it. That's it. Now that was why David was called, I wanted to ask this but I gave out the hint. Why is David called a man after God's own heart? God himself gave him this title. David is man after my own heart. Why?
Because he desired God's will above everything.
He desired God's will above everything. You are after someone's heart means, God, whatever your heart wants. And that is what you choose. I am nothing, I am nobody. I'm nobody and nothing to ask you to change your mind, to ask you to do it my way or give it to me. I'm nothing. God, I just want, as long as your will is done, I will just do whatever it takes to get your will done. Why is David a man after God's own heart? That he desired everything that God desired is because he has such absolute humility before his God. He stands before him and says, who am I? I am nothing. Who am I, Lord? Therefore, whatever you want, I just do it. Now, please note that this is not the first time that David is going to say, who am I? Now, let's actually, we'll come to that after. Now let's do question number 3, all right? Question number 2. Solomon will build instead. The trait of humility we must learn is not my intentions, even if they're very good intentions, not my will, even if they are good purpose for God. If God overrides it and said, this is not for your life, no matter how good I am and not how rich I am, how able I am to do it, and what it will bring to my name, I will step aside and let God choose whoever He wants. Remember that. Now I hope this helps you at your workplace. So thanks Douglas for asking that question. Question number 3. How would I know if I am proud when I do not get promoted, get appointed for some role in school, counselor, or something in church? Someone gets chosen instead, turned down by church leaders when you want to do something good for God. Now, how do you know that you are not proud? What traits? Trait number 1, you don't get insulted. You don't get insulted. Have you been bypassed for promotion before? Did you feel insulted? Do you feel dejected? You never feel insulted. It's fine. Now I remember someone at work. Now this person has no expectation at work. Has no expectation. Means this person always says, I am nobody. I am nothing. I join a company. In this company, I'm nobody and I'm nothing. I have no expectations. I just work. And like Jason said, as long as you pay me, I'll just come to work. Right? I have no expectations. You ask me to do, I'll do a good job for my God. No expectations. I hope the same in church, all right? And then, one day he got promoted. Now, in fact, this person shared, he walked into the boss's room, and the boss said, come in, I need to talk to you. All right, he sat down and said, all right, so you know what's going to happen, right? They say, what's going to happen? They say, don't you know? I think the person was really confused and probably thinking, I'm going to be fired. All right? His heart was pumping very fast, and he said, you mean you didn't know? We're going to make you the district manager of this group. And the person, what? Really? Try not to act too stunned. Right? He wasn't expecting it at all, but he was a good worker. He was a Christian, worked very hard, good worker. But who am I? No expectations. Everything he did, he just did it for God. And then he walked out of the room. He didn't want to tell anybody. All right, but somehow the word got around. The word got around. Now, in fact, this person said he went home. And he sat in this chair and he looked out of the window. And he said he just felt like he was still in a daze. He wasn't expecting it. But all the bosses have already planned to promote him. In fact, he was so, who am I in the company where even if he's treated well, he is looked up to and people were grooming him, it did not even occur to him. He wasn't even suspecting, maybe they're going to promote. He really had no expectations. And he said he just looked out of the window and said, is this happening to me? You know, there are so many engineers that are better than me, more capable than me. That's my seniors. I am a junior. Why am I being promoted? He really did not expect it, did not want it actually. He just sat there and just in a daze. And then the next day he went to school, went to work, and somehow the news got out. The boss told people. And then he said, well, this person was hired from England, all right, to Singapore. So this person was hired from England to Singapore, full of what you think. Who am I? Who I am. Right? Not who am I, but who I am. Full of expectations also. Oh, this person was very, very dejected. In fact, say this person walked up and smacked this person so hard on the back. Oh, you didn't even tell us, smack. And then this person again said, tell you what. This got whacked very hard. He was still not thinking that, oh, you mean I've taken your position? No expectations. Good Christian. Good testimony. When you have no expectations, that is what it really is. Who am I? But this guy was actually a very good worker at work. Like David, very capable, did many things that we needed an army of engineers to handle for many years. When this person joined, one person and hire a temporary university student to be some admin work, and he solved and took over a big project and solved it. That could not be solved for years. But because he is a who am I person, he don't even think about any expectations. So David was like that. I hope we are such men at the workplace, in school, in university. That was really David. All that matters, I'm here to do God's work, God's job, do it to my best of ability. I have no expectations. Wonderful trait. Why? Because I'm taken for the sheep coat. I'm really nothing. I wanted to say something. Yes, so God's will is all that counts. Church, the same. I hope none of you serve in church with expectations, with a pride in your heart that I am actually better. That's why the church appointed me to do this. Because if you have that expectation, rather than whatever is given in my hand, I'll just do. In fact, like Cornelius, I just want to be normal. Alright? I'm not vying for things. But it's given to me, I will do it for the Lord. But next year, if you don't ask me, I'm fine. Sometimes it's very difficult when you ask someone to do something 1 year. Right? My session members, know that we are very clear about this. They know the problem. You assign someone, if next year that person is not assigned, some people get angry. They're not like Cornelius. Good, this year I can be normal. How come this year I'm not abnormal? I'm not doing this. And they will even ask, why am I not asked to do this? Wait, next. Our session member is next. Joe. Hey, both Joe. Alright, never mind. Joshua. Alright, Joshua. Joshua. So come to Joshua. Now, should church appoint the person again? Because we know that if we don't, this person will be upset. In fact, this person or persons get upset before. Why not me? Should we appoint the person again? Why not? And the person is very good.
It's a question like if the person does get angry, should you appoint them so they don't get angry?
Yes, that as well.
That's probably not a good sign.
Not a good sign. Why, what do you mean by not a good sign? The person does a good job, capable.
They're not serving.
They are not serving out of pure motive. Understand that. But do you notice something just happened? Do you notice that the person did not get appointed? Or the persons did not get appointed? When the person or persons did not get appointed again, Joe Chang. What has just happened? I know my questions sometimes are very cryptic. The person did not get appointed. Who said the person should be appointed again? Caleb, what do you think? Should the person be appointed again? No. No. Alright, Caleb said no also. Nathan? No. So everyone in this room said no. Joe, what just happened?
God's will.
God's will just happened. What was God's will?
Tell the person that to show them the right.
Say again?
To show them the right.
Show the person
Their pride.
their pride.
They may not realize that they're proud. Only when they're not chosen, then they realize how I'm so angry.
Okay, so hopefully the person will say, how come I'm not chosen? Get very angry. And then after that, oh, because I'm proud. Hopefully the person responds that way. Or some don't, you know. Not just in our church, everywhere. Some don't. They get angrier. And then they show face. Now, what just happened is this. Even all of us say should not appoint again, right? What just happened is God's will just happened. That's true. God just stopped a person or persons to serve because of pride. When we are proud, God will not use that. Remember we studied that again and again? It will happen. Now we're going to see more of David later on about his engagement and really learn more from how did David really prove he has no pride. And when we don't have pride, what are the things that we will do? Alright, so the next time we come back, God willing, we learn that. But for today, I really hope when we really understand the truth, we are really nothing. The second thing, we don't deserve anything. Have no expectations at all. Then you don't have to deal with pride. Right, thanks Shane. That's a good answer. Then you don't have to deal with this pride problem. Let us turn to God in prayer. Now, someone asked, what is the difference between psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs?
有人说诗章、颂词、灵歌有什么不同？
Someone also asked, can we just have instrumental music?
有人说我们只要乐器的音乐就行就好。
Can we worship God with instrumental music?
我们单单用乐器的音乐来敬拜神就好，可以吗？